So you're telling me it's 2019 and you're still paying for standard cable? Today, we're going to check out streaming TV and help you guys get away from those nasty, nasty cable bills. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Brian and welcome to the Generation Gap. This is the channel that you guys go to when you're trying to cover those gaps in your life. On this channel, we mostly focus on tech reviews and tech tutorials to keep you guys hip with the times, keep you guys up to date with the new tech fads. If you're new here, consider subscribing and be sure to check out the description box below if you are interested in any of the related links. And with that said, let's get going. So before we get into the how-to portion of this, I just want to run through a few pros and cons for cutting the cord. Pro number one is going to be money. You're going to save a little bit of money. You typically do save a little money as long as you don't go crazy with how many on-demand services you have. Number two is going to be convenience. Being able to watch your shows basically anywhere that you have an internet connection is absolutely incredible. And number three, I think the big one that a lot of people think about is searching. You can actually search for exactly what you want to watch. So if you want to watch, whatever movie, if you want to watch The Office, you can just search for The Office and it'll tell you which services have that available, or if that service has it available within it. So it's really convenient to be able to search what you want. As for cons, there are a few that I have run into in my experience as well. The first one is going to be clunkiness. It feels kind of clunky when you're switching from app to app to app. You don't just get all your content on one big page. Like if you're just, you go on Netflix and you just scroll through. There's a ton of content there, but if they don't have what you want and you don't know what you want to watch, it's really kind of a pain to have to go back into your, go back and then go into Hulu, do the same thing, go back, go into Amazon Prime Video, go back. It is a little bit clunky. It's a little bit hard to get used to at first. I do prefer it over just flipping through channels. But it is a con. You have to keep that in mind. Number two is going to be, the second con I can think of is going to be upfront costs. You're going to have to pay quite a bit of money upfront to get all the devices you need if you don't have them already. Now, if you already have a nice router, you already have all the devices for all your TVs, then it doesn't matter. You have them, it works, you don't have to go buy them. But if you don't, and you're brand new, you're fresh to cutting the cord, and you need all the devices, you will have to spend the money up front to get the proper devices for each of your rooms. And then the third one is going to be restrictions. And the big restriction is going to be your download speed. And basically how that works is if you don't have a fast enough download speed, you're going to see a lot of buffering. And for those of you who don't know, buffering is that little circle that, your video stops, that little circle pops up and it swirls around. That is buffering. Basically what's happening is it's trying to download the video or download the movie that you're watching, but your movie's playing faster than it can download. So it has to stop, it has to buffer, and then it'll let you keep going. So you won't have a smooth experience. If you have a lot of devices on your network, a lot of people streaming at once, you will have a hard time having a smooth experience. What I would recommend that you do is go and do a speed test before and after work to find out what your peak and non-peak hour download speeds look like. You can go to speedtest.net to check that out. I will have a link in the description below for anybody who's interested in that. And then number two, I'd make sure you have a fast enough download speed for the devices that you want. And in order to check that, I also, while I was doing research for this video, I did find a web page, a website that actually lays it out really well. I was really impressed with how well they laid it out. So I'll leave that in the description as well, so you can check out that to see kind of like to be able to gauge exactly what you guys need for your household. Everybody's household is different. Everybody has X amount of devices and this many people in it, and you guys are going to have to make the decision on whether or not you have a fast enough download speed. So, and then the last con that I can think of is, and it's also part of the restriction, is your location. Some areas are unable to get services. You might not be able to receive a fast enough download speed to be able to cut the cord and be able to have a smooth experience. It might not be available to you, which really stinks, but it's happened. And it happens to people all the time. Or you might not be able to get an antenna, which we'll talk about in the gear section in a moment, but antennas are really good ways to get local channels. You might not be able to get an antenna because you don't live close enough to the broadcast towers. So it's really important to think about that before you just go ahead and cut the cord, because you might not have, you might not have enough options available to you. You might have a few, but you might not have enough for you guys. All right, now that the pros and cons are out of the way, let's get to the how-to portion of this video. It's gonna be broken down into two different sections. It's gonna be gear, what gear you need, what items you need to be able to successfully stream, and number two is gonna be the services available to you. It's gonna be a general explanation of the services, just so you have an idea of what you can look into and what you actually have available to you. Okay, so the first piece of gear that you're going to need is a streaming device, and that includes your smart TV or your smartphone. So if you have those, then that is perfectly fine, as long as it has the applications and the services that you want on it, and that's how you want to consume the device or consume your data or your content. That's perfectly fine. If you don't and you need a new device, you're gonna have to you're gonna look at the Roku's, the Fire TVs, Apple TVs, and so forth. I will be doing a video in the future about my favorite ones. If you guys are interested, feel free to subscribe and keep an eye out for that coming real soon. If you want a quick recommendation, I would definitely recommend the Roku Streaming Stick Plus. The device works fine. It's a little clunky at times, and it's not as smooth as some of the other devices I've used, but I love their remote. And it basically takes the few remotes I've had on my other devices, and it's kind of shrunk it down into one. I can use this for everything versus some of the other experiences. Again, I'll have a video for that and explaining why I like certain devices and why I don't. But yeah, if you needed a quick recommendation, I would say the Streaming Stick Plus is incredible for pricing and performance. The second piece of gear you're going to need is a good router. So most people already have their routers bundled into their modems. I would recommend calling up your service provider and saying, hey, I don't want that anymore. Get it canceled. Save yourself $5 a month, and here's why. The performance of those routers aren't very good, especially compared to ones that you can go out and buy for that same $5 a month price that you'll be spending for them. I know personally for me, I spent $120 on my router almost 3 years ago, and it's still running perfectly well. And it is much better than what I would have gotten if I would have gone with the standard modem slash router combination that my service provider offers. They offer it for $5 a month. I was like, no way. So I spent $120 on that 3 years ago. That equates to being about $3.33 per month. And it continuously goes down. So yes, again, going off of these cons that I mentioned earlier, you're going to have an upfront cost when it comes to cutting the cord. But if you buy a new router that's really good, you're not going to have that constant fee of $5 a month or whatever they're charging you for it. You're going to get a router, and you're going to be solid. What I would say when it comes to that, if you spend between $50 and $100 on a router, you will be probably more than okay. Most families can handle, like the amount of kind of traffic can be handled by a $50 to $100 router itself. I would just recommend going on Amazon or going on Walmart.com, Best Buy, read some reviews, find out what will work perfect for you. I'll leave a couple recommendations in the description below if you want my opinion on it as well. Third piece of gear that you're going to need is an antenna. Maybe. This is completely optional, and honestly, for some people like me, if you live in an area that has no broadcast towers nearby, it basically doesn't work for everybody. But if you do have broadcast towers nearby, I would definitely recommend picking up an antenna. Basically a lot of them can just go, they just like smack right to your wall. Beep. You just put it on your wall and hook it up, via coax, and then you just run you're on your TV, you run your channel scan, and bam, you have all your majority of your local channels, like your Fox and your CBS, NBC, those kind of channels. And honestly, if you live close enough to broadcast towers, you could probably just completely cut out the live TV streaming service completely. Because in my opinion, if it worked for me in my house, I wouldn't have one at all. I would use an antenna because I only watch sports on it. So other than that, I'm basically consuming only content that's on like Netflix or Amazon Prime Video or anything like that. So that being said, yeah, if you can get an antenna, feel free to, I would definitely recommend going out and getting one. I wouldn't spend more than like $40 to $60 on one. Again, it's an upfront charge, but it'll be worth it. It'll save you money month after month. And they last, quite a long time. So that's always a great thing to buy if you can actually use it. Now you have your streaming devices. You know your pros and cons. You've already checked out your You checked out if you can use an antenna, and you just went out and bought a brand new, pretty router. The next question when it comes to how-to is which services are available to you, and what should you get? Well, if you don't have an antenna, if you can't get one because you live in an area like me and there's no broadcast towers nearby, I would say that you absolutely need a live TV streaming service. Again, it's going to be preferenced, it's going to be all your preference depending on what you guys watch. But I would definitely say go and get a live TV streaming service. There's a ton of them out there. Sling TV, Hulu TV has a live service. They all work really well. They'll range from like $20 to $50 depending on what channels you want. And some of the packages even let you choose which channels that you want. So it's actually kind of cool. So you're going to need one of those. I'll link a few in the description below, ones that I've done research on that I found either I've used or I have friends that I've used that have had good experiences with. And then number 2 is going to be your on-demand services. And I want to talk about these for a little bit because I think that there's a lot of good information here on this. On-demand services include like your Netflix, your Hulu, non-live TV versions, of course, your Amazon Prime Video, and Disney Plus that's coming out in November of this year, and so forth. What I wanted to mention on your demand is that a lot of wireless carriers nowadays, like Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, those are the big 3. They're actually giving away some of these on-demand services for free. I know yesterday Verizon announced that they are partnering with Disney to give Disney Plus to all of their unlimited data members. They also do the same thing with Apple for Apple Music. That's Verizon. So Apple Music and Verizon have a contract that will give you free Apple Music on certain unlimited plans as well. So you might actually already get some of these on-demand services and all the on-demand services that you need through your wireless carrier. So check that out to see if you already get them, because this could really save you guys, again, $8 to $15 per service. Or it could give you guys just more options to choose from. Maybe you pay for Netflix and then you get free Disney Plus and then you get free Amazon Prime Video because you're already a Prime member, which is another thing. So you have a lot of options you can choose. I will, again, I will link, just like I said for the live TV services, I'll link a few in the description below that I like personally that we use in my household. And I'll give you guys, obviously the links and everything that you guys need for that. But I would recommend getting at least one of those, and the sure choice will always be Netflix. They are the OG when it comes to streaming services, so that's always a good one. But again, if you have a free one already, like if you're on Verizon, you're gonna get free Disney Plus. I mean, might as well test it out, see how it goes, and if you don't need Netflix, then don't get it. I mean, I know I have so much content available to me in my house that it's kind of ridiculous, and I spend most of my time just scrolling through channels and apps because I don't know exactly what I want to watch. So sometimes keeping yourself with less options is actually better, even though there's a ton of options out there. That's about it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope I was able to provide you guys some insight on the pros and cons of cutting the cord, what type of devices you're going to need, what type of gear you need, and kind of the services that are available to you and the options that are available to you guys when it comes to cutting the cord. If there's anything I missed or there's any questions you guys have, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Click that like button if you like this video. Subscribe if you don't want to miss out on the future content of this channel. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you later.